The world was waiting for the first time in history. Humans were not alone in sports. The great stadium was full. The lights bright, the cameras ready. Billions of people on Earth were watching. Every screen, every channel. Every radio spoke of the same thing. The match. The game that would change everything. In the middle of this storm of noise stood one young man. His name was Alex Carter. He was only 20 years old, but he was fast. One of the fastest runners on Earth. He had trained his whole life for this chance. And yet as he stood near the track, his hands were shaking. Alex looked up at the giant screen above the stadium. It showed his face, his nervous eyes, his strong body ready for the race. The crowd cheered for him. They shouted his name. But deep inside he was not calm. He whispered to himself, "This is not a normal race. This is history." All around the stadium, flags waved in the air, families, children, old men, young women, they had all come. They wanted to see something no human had ever seen. Because today, the runner standing opposite Alex was not human. Today, the race was between man and alien. The stadium grew quiet. A low sound began to rise like thunder. The gates on the far side opened slowly, and then the alien stepped inside. The crowd gasped, some people clapped, some shouted, some just stared. The alien was tall, taller than any human athlete. Its body was lean and strong. Its skin pale silver under the lights. It moved like water, smooth and calm. Its eyes glowed faint blue. Watching everything, Alex froze for a second. His heart beat faster, his throat felt dry. This was no ordinary rival. This was a being from the stars. And yet here it was, ready to run with him. The announcer's voice filled the air. "Ladies and gentlemen, today we witness the first human versus alien athletic event. On one side, our champion, Alex Carter of Earth. On the other side, the visitor from the stars, known only as Kael." The crowd roared again. The noise was like an ocean wave crashing against the walls of the stadium. Alex tried to block it out. He stretched his legs, touched his shoes, looked straight ahead, but he could feel Kael's eyes on him. It was not anger, not hate, just a calm, deep stare. The referee raised his hand. 10 runners were on the track, but only 2 mattered, the human and the alien. A line of history drawn on the ground. Everyone waited, breath held. Alex thought about his family. His mother's smile, his father's proud words. He thought about his coach, about the years of running in the rain. In the heat, in the dark, he thought about Earth itself. He was not just running for himself, he was running for all of humanity. On your mark, the runners stepped to their blocks. Alex felt the cold ground under his fingers. Beside him, Kael lowered his long arms with perfect control. Set. The stadium went silent. Even the wind seemed to stop. Alex closed his eyes for half a second. His chest rose and fell. Then the gun fired and the race began. The runners shot forward. Alex exploded with power, his legs pumping, his arms cutting the air. The sound of the crowd vanished. There was only the track, the heartbeat, and the goal ahead. But then he saw it. Kael was not just fast. Kael was beyond fast. The alien's body moved like lightning. Smooth and effortless, in a single second, Kael was ahead. Alex felt fear hit his chest. How can I beat this, he thought. Yet Kael did not leave him behind. The alien slowed slightly. Its head turned for a second, eyes glowing blue. And Alex felt something strange. It was as if Kael was not only running. It was as if Kael was watching him, measuring him, testing him. The crowd cheered louder. The stadium shook. Every camera zoomed on the two, man and alien, side by side. The world watched with wide eyes. This was not just sport. This was the beginning of something greater, and Alex knew deep inside that his life, and the life of every human, would never be the same again. The race was over, but the noise did not stop. The crowd was still on their feet, shouting, clapping, crying out in wonder. For the first time in human history, a race had ended not with one clear winner, but with something else, a human and an alien crossing the line side by side. Alex stood on the track, his chest rising and falling, his breath burning in his lungs. He looked to the side, and there was Kael, the alien runner, tall and calm. Kael did not look tired. Kael did not even sweat. It stood with silent grace, watching the human beside him. The referee blew the whistle, but nobody cared. The crowd was not watching the scoreboard. They were watching the alien. Phones flashed, cameras zoomed. Voices rose louder and louder. But Kael did not move, it only lifted its head, its glowing eyes looking over the sea of humans. The whole stadium seemed to freeze under that gaze. Alex felt the weight of that silence. He had run many races, but never like this. He should have felt defeated, he should have felt weak. Yet something inside him whispered different. He had not lost, he had been chosen. But chosen for what he did not know. Security guards rushed to the track. They were nervous, their hands near their weapons. They were not sure if Kael was safe or dangerous. But Kael only lifted its long arms slowly. The alien opened its palms. Empty and calm, the crowd whispered, some afraid, some curious. Then Kael did something nobody expected. It stepped forward to Alex. The alien bent down slightly as if to match his height, and placed one silver hand on Alex's shoulder. The touch was not heavy, but Alex felt it like fire. His eyes widened, because in that single second he saw something. Not the stadium, not the crowd, not even Earth. He saw a sky filled with strange stars. He saw ships of light moving through darkness. He saw war, fire, broken worlds, and then he saw hope, a vision of unity, of humans and aliens standing together. Alex gasped, stepping back. Kael removed its hand and the vision was gone. But the memory burned in his mind. What had just happened, he asked himself, was it real? Or just his imagination? The announcer's voice tried to speak. Ladies and gentlemen, this is incredible. But even the announcer's words felt small. The real story was not the race. The real story was the alien, and what it had shown Alex. Kael turned its face toward the leaders sitting in the royal box. Presidents, generals, scientists, all were there. The alien raised its hand slowly, not in threat but in greeting. The leaders did not know how to respond. Some stood, some whispered to each other. Nobody wanted to make the wrong move. The crowd did what leaders could not. They began to cheer louder than before. They waved their flags. They shouted one word, peace, peace, peace. Children laughed, families smiled, and for a moment, the world felt united. Alex looked at Kael again. The alien's glowing eyes softened for the first time. Not cold, not distant, but almost kind. Alex felt that strange connection again. Like Kael was speaking without words. Like Kael was asking him a question only he could answer. Reporters rushed to the field, microphones in hand. Scientists begged to get closer, but Kael ignored them all. It looked only at Alex, and in that silence, Alex realized something. The alien had not come just to win a race. The alien had come for him. The sky above the stadium darkened as night fell. Floodlights glowed white against the field. But in Alex's heart, a new light had been lit. Fear, yes, but also wonder. He whispered to himself again. This is only the beginning. Kael stepped back, its long arms folding behind its back. It moved toward the tunnel at the edge of the stadium. The crowd screamed, wanting it to stay. But Kael walked with calm steps, disappearing into the shadows. The alien had arrived, it had shown its power. But it had also left questions that no human could yet answer. Alex stood frozen. The sound of the crowd was far away. The world had just changed, and he was at the center of it. The arrival of Kael was not just about sport. It was a message, and Alex knew he had to understand it, before it was too late. The world did not sleep that night. Every news channel, every radio, every online feed spoke about the alien. Some called Kael a hero, others called it a threat, but no one could deny one truth. The alien had changed everything. Alex sat in his small room inside the athletes' village. The cheers of the crowd still echoed in his ears. But louder than the noise was the memory of Kael's touch. Those visions of fire and stars would not leave his mind. He pressed his hands to his head, whispering, "What does it want from me?" Outside his window, soldiers guarded the building. Reporters shouted questions from the gates. Scientists demanded to speak with him. But Alex stayed silent. He felt like a storm was coming, and he was standing right in the middle of it. Morning came. The stadium was full again. Even louder than before, the officials announced the second stage of the games. Not just running now, but trials, strength, skill, balance, endurance. It was meant to test the best of humanity. But now everyone wondered, would Kael join again? The answer came quickly. The gates opened, and Kael stepped out once more. The silver skin shone under the lights. The glowing eyes searched the field. And then, as if drawn by invisible strings, they found Alex. The crowd went wild. They wanted to see more. Not just a race, but a real contest. Could a human truly stand against a being from the stars? Could Earth prove its worth? Alex walked slowly to the center of the field. His heart beat heavy, but his steps did not stop. He stood across from Kael, man and alien, facing each other. The referee raised a flag. "This will be a direct challenge," he announced. The human athlete Alex Carter against the alien visitor Kael. Trial by trial, the first test was strength. Large stones were placed before them, each one heavier than the last. The rule was simple: lift and carry across the line. Alex's muscles tensed, sweat already forming. Kael's silver hands touched the first stone like it was paper. The alien lifted it with no struggle. The crowd gasped. Alex took a deep breath. He bent his knees, gripped the stone, and pulled. His arms shook. His back screamed, but he did not stop. Slowly, painfully, he carried it forward. The crowd roared for him, not because he was faster, not because he was stronger, but because he refused to give up. Stone after stone, Kael moved with ease. But with every step Alex took, the cheers grew louder. For every drop of sweat, every trembling hand, the people saw not weakness but courage. The second trial was balance. A long beam stretched high above the ground. The athletes had to cross while carrying weight. Kael stepped onto the beam like a shadow. It moved with perfect grace, arms steady, head high. Alex followed, his legs unsteady, the beam shaking beneath him. He nearly fell but caught himself. The crowd gasped, then clapped. Every step he took felt like a war, but still he moved forward. When he reached the other side, Alex lifted his head. Kael was waiting, calm as stone, and for a moment, Alex thought he saw something new. Not arrogance, not coldness, but respect. The third trial was speed again, but this time through obstacles, sharp turns, walls to climb. Mud to cross, the whistle blew. Kael moved like lightning, leaping walls, cutting through the mud with ease. Alex pushed his body until it burned. He slipped, fell, his knees hit the ground, but he rose again, faster, harder. The crowd screamed his name, "Alex, Alex!" Alex. Every fall made his will stronger. When he crossed the finish line, Kael was already there, but the alien did not look proud. It looked thoughtful. Its glowing eyes studied Alex as if learning something new, as if every human struggle told a story Kael had never seen before. The referee announced the scores. Kael had won each trial by measure, but the crowd did not cheer for Kael. They cheered for Alex. They cheered for the human who refused to break, for the runner who fought against the impossible. Alex stood, chest heavy, sweat pouring down, and Kael stepped toward him again. The alien raised its hand, not to touch this time, but to point. It pointed at Alex. Then at the sky, a gesture simple but clear. The challenge was not only about games. It was about something greater, a test for what was coming. The stadium was alive with noise, but Alex only heard the silence between them. And in that silence, he knew the real challenge had only just begun. The sun had set over the stadium. The trials were finished, but the world was not finished talking. Everyone argued, everyone guessed. Who was this alien, and what did it want? Why did it race? Why did it test? And why did it look at Alex that way? Alex sat alone in the locker room. His body ached, his arms heavy, his legs sore. But the pain was nothing compared to the storm in his mind. Every time he closed his eyes, he saw Kael, the glowing blue eyes, the silent stare, the strange gestures. It felt like Kael was speaking even when no sound came. He remembered the moment on the track, when Kael had placed its hand on his shoulder. The visions of fire, the stars, the broken worlds. It had felt real, too real. Alex shook his head, whispering to himself, "No, it was just my mind, it had to be." But deep inside, he knew it was not imagination. Kael had shown him something humans were not supposed to see. The door opened. A soldier walked in, helmet shining under the light. "Alex Carter," the soldier said. "The alien has requested you." Alex blinked, his voice low. "Requested me, are you serious?" The soldier nodded. "It refused to leave the arena until you came." Alex's heart raced. He stood, his legs weak but moving. He followed the soldier down the long hall. The sound of his footsteps echoed. Every step felt heavier, every corner darker. At the end of the hall stood Kael, alone, tall, silent. The guards around it were tense, hands near their weapons, but Kael paid them no attention. Its glowing eyes were fixed only on Alex. The soldier stepped aside. "You have 5 minutes," he said. Alex swallowed hard and walked closer. For a moment, there was only silence. Two figures, one human, one alien, facing each other in the dim light. Kael raised its hand, slowly, carefully, not touching, only pointing at Alex's chest, then at its own. Then Kael spread its arms wide. Like opening a door, Alex frowned. "I don't understand," he whispered. Kael tilted its head. Then it bent down, drawing lines on the floor with its long finger. Circles, stars, fire. Then two small figures standing side by side. One looked human, the other alien. Alex stared. Breath caught in his throat. "It's trying to say, we..." "Together," he whispered. Kael's eyes glowed brighter. It nodded slowly. A silent confirmation. Alex felt a chill run through him. The alien was speaking without words. No sound, no language, only symbols, gestures, visions. And yet the message was clear. Kael wanted more than a game. Kael wanted a bond. The guards shifted nervously. One whispered, "Is it threatening him?" But Alex raised a hand. "No," he said softly. "It's not a threat." His voice shook, but his eyes stayed on Kael. Kael stood again, taller than any human. It stepped closer. The guards raised their weapons. But Alex did not move. Kael extended its hand, palm open, waiting. Not forcing, not demanding. Only waiting. Alex hesitated. His mind screamed danger, but his heart whispered trust.
Slowly, he lifted his hand and placed it against Kael's.
The world vanished. Darkness surrounded him. Then stars burst alive all around. He stood in space, his feet on nothing. Worlds spun before his eyes. He saw alien cities of glass and light. He saw battles, soldiers of fire and shadow. He saw Kael's people, proud and strong, but tired, broken. And he saw them falling until a new image appeared. Humans and aliens standing side by side, fighting together, surviving together. Alex gasped. Pulling his hand back, the vision was gone. He was back in the dim hall, sweat dripping from his forehead. Kael stood still, hand lowered, eyes calm. It did not need words. The message was clear. It was asking for alliance. For trust. Alex's legs trembled. He whispered, "Why me? I'm just one runner." But deep inside he already knew. Kael had seen something in him. Not just speed, not just strength, but the human will to keep going. Even when the odds were impossible, the guard stepped forward. "Time's up," one said sharply. Kael lowered its head slowly, almost like a bow. Then it turned and walked away. Its silver body vanished into the shadows again. Alex stood frozen, his heart raced, his mind burned with questions. The crowd outside still cheered, the world still argued. But only he had heard the silent message. Only he knew the alien's secret, and he also knew something else. This was no longer just about games, it was about survival. And the real test had not even started yet. The world was awake. Every screen still replayed the images of Alex and Kael. The race, the trials, the silent gestures, and the strange moment when Alex had touched the alien's hand. Some called it friendship, some called it danger, but nobody knew the truth. Alex lay on his bed, staring at the ceiling. His body wanted rest, but his mind refused to stop. Visions of alien cities and burning skies haunted him. The stars he had seen in that vision felt closer than ever. He whispered into the darkness, "What are you trying to show me, Kael?" The next morning, the officials gathered Alex. They wanted answers. "What did it do to you? Did it speak? Did it threaten you?" Alex shook his head. No, it wasn't a threat. It was something else, but he could not explain more. How could he tell them about the visions? They would not believe him, or worse, they would fear him. The officials argued. Some wanted Kael removed. Others wanted to study it. But before a decision was made, the stadium called again. The third day of contests had arrived, and Kael was waiting. The air inside the stadium was heavy, not with joy this time, but with tension. The crowd cheered, but there was an edge to it. People were beginning to wonder, was this really just sport? Or something more? Alex walked to the field. He saw Kael already there, standing tall, silver skin shining, eyes calm, but this time Kael was different. Its body carried a weight, a seriousness. Like today was not another game, but a moment that mattered. The referee announced the challenge. It would be the final trial, not speed, not strength, not balance, but endurance, a marathon through the city. Miles of streets, alleys, hills, no shortcuts, no breaks. A race to test heart and will. The crowd cheered. The runners lined up, but once again, the eyes of the world were only on two, Alex and Kael. The gun fired, and they began. Feet pounded the ground. Breath filled the air. The city roared with voices. People leaned from windows, waved from rooftops. Every street was alive with noise. At first, Kael pulled ahead easily. Its body moved like a machine. Smooth and fast, Alex pushed himself harder. Sweat poured down his face, his lungs burned, but he did not stop. He could not stop then. Something strange happened. Kael slowed down, not because it was tired, but because it was waiting. It looked back, its glowing eyes locking with Alex, and then it matched his pace. Step for step, the crowd gasped. Commentators shouted. Why was the alien not winning? Why was it staying beside the human? Alex felt anger rise inside him. Are you mocking me? He muttered under his breath. But Kael shook its head slowly. And then without words it began to send a message. Not with sound, but with movement. Every step Kael took was deliberate. Its arms moved in patterns, its head tilted toward the sky. Then toward Alex it pointed at the streets, then at the people cheering, then back at the sky again. Alex's chest tightened. He understood piece by piece. Kael was not here to defeat him. It was here to show him, to teach him. The race was not about winning. It was about survival, human and alien side by side, against something greater. Images flashed in Alex's mind again. Not as strong as before, but enough. Dark shapes in the stars, ships of fire, shadows spreading across worlds. A storm that was coming, and Earth was not ready. Alex stumbled, nearly falling. His vision blurred, his legs weak. But Kael's hand caught his arm, steadying him. The alien's touch was firm, but not cruel. It pulled him forward. Together they kept running. The crowd did not understand. They only saw a man and an alien running side by side. But Alex felt the truth in every step. This was more than sport, this was preparation. A warning hidden in a challenge. Hours passed, the streets blurred. Other runners had fallen behind. Only Alex and Kael remained in the lead, step for step, mile for mile. The city roared as they entered the final stretch. Flags waved, voices thundered. But Alex heard none of it. He heard only the message. The silent voice carried in Kael's pace. When they crossed the finish line, it was not Kael first. Not Alex first, it was both together. The world exploded with noise, but Alex dropped to his knees. Exhausted, Kael stood above him, silent, strong. Then it bent down and helped him stand. The camera zoomed in. The world watched as Kael raised Alex's arm high, not as a rival but as a partner. The crowd cheered louder than ever before. But Alex's heart was heavy, because he knew something the crowd did not. This was not the end of the games. This was the beginning of the war to come. And in that moment he understood. The turning point had arrived. Not for him alone, but for all of humanity. The marathon had ended, but the noise of the world did not fade. Every country argued about what they had seen. Some said Kael was a friend. Others whispered Kael was a spy. Leaders gathered behind closed doors, planning their next move. The people celebrated Alex as a hero, but Alex himself felt no joy. He sat in his room again, staring at his hands. They still shook from the race, but it was not exhaustion that troubled him. It was the message, the visions, the silent warning hidden inside every step. He whispered into the dark. What am I supposed to do? A soft knock broke his thoughts. He turned, and a guard stood at the door. There's a visitor, the guard said. Voice tense, Alex frowned. At this hour? The guard nodded, eyes shifting nervously. It's the alien. It asked for you only. Alex froze, his heart beat louder. He had expected Kael might appear again. But not here, not in secret. Still, something inside him knew he had to go. He rose and followed the guard into the quiet night. They moved through long corridors, then into the empty stadium tunnels. No crowd, no cameras, only shadows. At the far end of the hall, Kael stood waiting, tall, silent. Glowing eyes fixed only on him. The guard hesitated. I'll wait here, he said, and stepped back. Alex swallowed hard and walked forward. His footsteps echoed, his chest tight. When he stopped in front of Kael, he whispered, You wanted to see me? Kael tilted its head. It raised a hand and touched the wall. Lines of light spread across the stone, forming shapes, stars, planets, burning fire. Alex watched in silence as the story unfolded before him. Kael pointed to one planet, shining bright in the image. Then Kael clenched its fist and the planet shattered into dust. Alex's eyes widened. You lost your world, he whispered. Kael lowered its head slowly, a silent yes. More images came. Dark shapes rising in the stars. Ships like blades, shadows swallowing light. Kael drew humans beside aliens, standing together. Then fighting those shadows, finally Kael drew Alex, a small figure. Standing in the center, Alex's chest grew heavy. You're telling me, you need us, you need me. Kael stepped closer. It raised a long hand and touched Alex's chest again. Visions rushed into him. Cities of glass burning, voices crying. A war across the stars, Kael's people fighting. Losing, fleeing, then Earth. Shining like a new hope, Alex staggered back. Gasping, his voice shook. You came here not for sport, not for games, but because you're running from them. The ones who destroyed your world. Kael's eyes glowed brighter. It tapped its own chest, then pointed at Alex. Then drew two figures standing back to back. Alex's hands clenched. You want me to stand with you? For the first time, Kael spoke. The voice was low, broken but clear. Human. Strong. Alex froze, the sound echoing in his mind. It was not just sound, it was weight, meaning, trust. Kael struggled to form words, but the intent was clear. Why me? Alex whispered. Why not the generals, the leaders, the scientists? Kael's glowing eyes softened. It tapped Alex's chest again, then spread its arms like wings. The vision flashed once more. Alex running, falling, rising, never giving up, the crowd cheering. The spirit of Earth shining through him. Kael's voice came again, softer. Because you endure. Alex felt his throat tighten. He had never thought of himself as more than a runner. Just a boy who loved speed, who loved the race, and yet this alien, this survivor of a fallen world, had seen something in him that he himself had never seen. Silence stretched between them. The guards far behind shifted nervously, but Alex did not move. His voice broke the stillness. If I say yes. What happens? Kael's glowing eyes dimmed. Almost sad, it drew another image on the wall. A shadow moving closer to Earth. Ships of fire drawing near. Alex's heart pounded. They're already coming, he whispered. Kael nodded slowly. The truth crashed over him like a wave. The games were never about sport. They were a stage, a signal, a way for Kael to show the world. But the real battle was not on the track. It was in the stars, and time was running out. Alex looked at Kael again for the first time. He felt no fear, only resolve. His voice was steady. Then I'll stand with you. Kael lowered its head, almost like a bow. It touched its chest, then touched Alex's again. A bond sealed in silence, the secret now shared. The guard called from behind. Time's up. We have to go. Alex turned once more, but Kael had already stepped back. Its tall figure melted into the shadows. Gone as if it had never been there. Alex stood frozen in the tunnel. The weight of the truth heavy on his shoulders. He whispered into the night, the secret is out now, and nothing will ever be the same. The games had ended. The medals were given, the crowds went home, but the world was not celebrating anymore. Whispers spread across every country. The aliens' visit was no longer seen as entertainment. It was something deeper, something heavier. Alex walked through the empty stadium at night. The same place that had once been filled with cheers was now silent. Only the echo of his footsteps remained. He looked at the track where it all began. The race, the trials, the visions. He closed his eyes, remembering Kael's voice, broken but clear. Because you endure. He had carried that message for days. Leaders had questioned him. Scientists had tested him. Everyone wanted answers. But Alex told them nothing. The secret was not theirs to hold. It was his and Kael's, and it was too dangerous to share too soon. One night, as the moon hung low, Kael came again. No cameras, no guards. Only shadow and silence. The alien moved with calm steps, silver skin glowing in the pale light. Alex felt no fear now, only expectation, he whispered. I knew you would come. Kael raised its hand. Not to give visions this time, but to draw a circle in the air. The circle glowed, opening into an image. Not Earth, but space. Ships drifting, broken worlds, dark shadows spreading, and then Earth itself, bright and alive, the shadow drawing closer. Alex's chest tightened. They're coming, aren't they? He said. Kael nodded slowly. Its glowing eyes locked on him. Then Kael drew another image. Two figures standing back to back, one human, one alien. Both holding the line against the darkness, the meaning was clear. Alex stepped closer, his voice steady now. You want to prepare me? Kael tapped its chest, then tapped Alex's, then spread its arms as if to say. Together, Alex nodded. Then teach me. From that night. The training began, not in public, not in front of cameras, but in secret, in the quiet places where no one watched. Kael showed Alex movements no human had seen. Ways of breathing, ways of standing. Balance not just of body but of mind. Strength not just of muscle but of spirit. At first Alex struggled. The alien's methods felt strange. Almost impossible, but every time he fell, Kael helped him rise. Every mistake became a lesson. Every failure became a step forward. Alex felt his body grow sharper, his mind calmer for the first time. He was not just a runner, he was something more. The bond between them deepened. No words were needed. Only gestures, looks, and silence. Kael taught without speaking. Alex learned without asking. They became partners, not rivals, and slowly, Alex began to understand this was not just about him, it was about Earth. About proving humanity could stand beside the stars. But the secret was not safe for long one night. As Alex and Kael trained in the empty arena, a shadow moved in the stands, a camera clicked, a figure slipped away. Someone had seen, someone had captured the truth. By morning, the images spread. Alex and Kael together, training in the dark. The world exploded with questions. Was Alex a traitor? Was Kael building an army? Governments demanded answers. The people were divided. Some cheered, believing in unity. Others feared invasion. Chaos grew. Alex stood before the cameras. The world demanded his voice. For a moment, he wanted to stay silent. But then he remembered Kael's words. You endure. He took a deep breath and spoke. I am not a traitor. I am not a pawn. Kael is not here to destroy us. Kael came because enemies greater than us are already moving. They destroyed his world and they will come for ours. But together we can stand. Together we can endure. The world listened. Some doubted, some feared. But many believed. For the first time, they did not see just Alex the runner. They saw Alex the symbol, a bridge between two worlds. Kael stood beside him, tall and silent. The alien raised its hand, palm open. Alex raised his too. And in that single gesture, human and alien stood united. The noise of the world shook like thunder. But beneath it all was something new. Hope that night. Alex and Kael stood at the edge of the stadium. The stars shone above. Cold and endless, Alex whispered. They're out there, aren't they? Kael nodded slowly. Eyes glowing against the dark, Alex's jaw tightened. Then let them come, for the first time. Alex did not feel small under the stars. He felt ready. A new chapter had begun. Not just for him, not just for Kael, but for Earth. The games were over. The real story was only beginning.